Next up is Parkinson and Hicks from Kamloops, Okanagan.
Hey V, I just went through my pantry and found some flour, sugar, and sea salt caramel chocolate chips. Do you have any idea of what I can create of these ingredients?
I just found a recipe online to make some sweet sea salt caramel cookies. Do you want to try those?
That sounds wonderful. Let's get to baking.
Thank you, Chairperson. Welcome, honorable judges, guests,
families and friends, and our fellow 4-H members. This here is my partner V. They are 19 years old, and this will be their 10th year within our 4-H program.
And this is my partner, Tamily. She's 17 years old, and this will be her 2nd year in 4-H.
My stomach is growling, V. I think it's time to get started on those cookies. What do you think?
I think that's a great idea. Let's start off by gathering all of our ingredients.
The ingredients to make our sweet sea salt caramel cookies is half a cup of softened butter. We then have 1/3 cup of brown sugar, 1/4 cup of white sugar, half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1 egg. We then have 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour, 1/4 cup of cocoa powder, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/8 teaspoon of salt, and last but not least, 140 grams of our sweet sea salt caramel chips.
Oh, I'm getting really hungry, but we need some supplies. The supplies to start the magic of putting these wonderful cookies together are a mixer and a mixing bowl, a cookie scoop, a spatula, an oven, along with a baking sheet, parchment paper, a cooling rack, and last but not least, oven mitts. Now that all of our wonderful supplies and ingredients are accounted for, it's time to start making these cookies. But first, we need to practice some food safety, so let's wash our hands. Since we don't have a sink and soap with us today, we'll be using some hand sanitizer. Rub-a-dub-dub!
Just in time. I don't think I could take much more of my growling stomach looking at all these scrumptious ingredients. The first step to creating our sweet sea salt caramel cookies is to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. If your oven is in Celsius, then you will preheat to 180 degrees.
The next step is to beat the butter, along with the brown sugar, the white sugar, and then the vanilla until it's well combined. Hey Tamily, what's your favorite kind of cookie?
I would have to say chocolate chip. What about you?
Yeah, I'd say that too. That looks wonderful. It should look something like this. A nice, fluffy consistency.
That looks incredible. Now it's time to add the egg and mix just until it is combined.
1 egg.
Hey V, what's a cookie that you despise most of?
A cookie that I despise most? I don't know. I like all cookies, but I do know a lot of people don't like peanut butter. Now it's time for the step that brings our cookie dough together. We will add the flour, along with the cocoa powder, the baking soda, and the salt, and mix well.
Hey V, do you know what my favorite color is?
Your favorite color? Maybe teal, because that seems to be the color scheme of a lot of our demonstration.
Yeah. Ooh, that looks incredible. Now, make sure that there is no batter stuck to the sides or the bottom of your bowl. You will do this by taking your spatula and scraping the sides and the bottom.
Yeah, let's incorporate all that extra flour that loves to get stuck to the sides and the bottoms. And that's a wonderful tip. I often forget it and then get to the bottom of my baking and there's still leftover flour. Now it's time for the step that brings our whole demonstration together. It's time to add the sea salt caramel chocolate chips.
That looks good. Hey V, do you know why the cookie went to the doctor?
Went to the doctor because he was underbaked.
Nope, because he was feeling crummy. That looks incredible. Now it's almost time to put them into the oven. You'll grab your baking sheet and you'll line it with parchment paper. You'll then take your cookie scoop and use the scoop to scoop the dough onto the tray, making sure they are evenly spread apart, about 2 to 3 fingers width apart.
Hey Tamale, how many cookies do you think we can fit on this cookie sheet?
I'm guessing about 6.
Sure, that sounds good. There's cookie number 5. And last but not least, cookie number 6. Then, we'll put the cookies into the oven and bake them for 9 whole minutes. I know, it's a long time when you want some delicious cookies. But did you know, Tamale, that in high school, I used to make almost 100 cookies every week and give them to my friends?
Wow, that's super cool. I bet you had so many friends by the end of each week.
I did, but let's just say, by the time I graduated high school, my mom was a little annoyed with all of my baking. But hey, my teachers and friends loved it.
Ding! I just think I heard the timer go off. Time to take the cookies out of the oven. First, you will put on your oven mitts. 1 and 2. And they're teal. Then, you will take your cookies out of the oven.
Ah, the aroma of fresh baked cookies smelling the room. It just makes me a little hungrier.
Now you'll take your cookies and place them onto the cooling rack.
Then, you will cool for a whole 5 minutes. And then, enjoy.
Wait, what were the steps again? Just so these wonderful people watching us can really remember our sweet sea salt caramel cookies and just how much they make your stomach growl.
Sure, why don't we summarize everything we did?
First, we gathered all of our supplies and preheated our oven.
Then, we mixed the wet ingredients together until they were well blended.
After mixing the wet ingredients, we added the dry ingredients and combined it all into one.
Then, using our cookie scoop, we scooped the dough onto a baking sheet and put it in the oven.
And last but not least, we allowed time to cool and enjoy.
Wow, and to imagine all these cookies cost only $3.82.
Right, I forgot to tell everyone that part. This recipe makes about 18 cookies. So in total, it comes out to be about 21 cents per cookie.
Ah, that's so good, and I am getting so hungry. You said you were getting hungry too, so I think it's time we eat some cookies. Sounds like a good plan?
Perfect. Are there any questions?
Are there any questions? Yes.
How did you get the price of $3.82?
The question has been asked, how did we get the price of $3.82? Well, with a lot of math of calculating the approximate price of the various ingredients, we calculated them all to work out to $3.82. Unfortunately, we don't have time to go through the cost breakdown of a lot of the ingredients, since a lot of them work out to maybe 3 to 5 cents per some of the smaller ingredients. Does it answer your question?
Are there any questions? Yes.
Where would you get a sea salt caramel chocolate chip?
The question has been asked where we would get the sea salt caramel chocolate chips. Right now, they're super hard to find, but you can find them at any local grocery store, just with all the other chocolate chips. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Are there any questions?
Are there any? Oh,
What's the best beverage to drink with those chocolate cookies? Chocolate milk or white milk?
The question has been asked, what's the best beverage to drink with these cookies, chocolate milk or white milk? Well, it all comes down to your personal preference. If you like a lot of chocolate, then maybe choose the chocolate milk, since these cookies are also chocolate. But if you want to bring in a little bit of balance, to balance out the intense amount of cocoa that you get from these cookies, I recommend white milk. Does that answer your question?
Sounds delicious.
are there any questions?
Are there any questions?